you can flip it to get a superstar, get somebody that'll bring immediate help, you got to pull that trigger. Even if
Yeah.
it involves maybe packaging some other stuff, along with it, you might. I think they might need to move on from this pick. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah, it's a question I was going to ask you. I mean, should they look to trade the pick? I mean, I know this draft is considered probably weaker. They even said that at the top of the broadcast on ABC that it's like this is probably the weakest draft class since like 2013 when Anthony Bennett was the first overall pick. I don't really know.
Who knows what you can get for that pick because of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't really think that, like, some people, I saw some like crazy stuff. Like, the 5th pick isn't getting you Devin Booker.
No.
The 5th pick, I don't know what it's going
to
be.
The first pick might not have gotten you Devin Booker.
Yeah, exactly. I think Sam Vecini from The Athletic said the first pick in this draft would be valued as the 5th pick in last year's draft. And like, he's a draft expert. He does this for a living. Like, that just kind of tells you like how watered down this draft actually is. I think it's more role players than superstars. That's just my opinion from, just watching these kids. But I think they'll move it personally. I just don't know who they're going to move it to. Maybe, you attach a Jaden Ivey and a 5, see what it gets you. I think it's a real possibility. But I think all the names that Pistons fans talk about, like Lauri Markkanen, Brandon Ingram, Devin Booker, I don't know if 5 is enough to get you those guys unless you're attaching multiple picks and multiple players.
Oh, and best believe that is what it's going to have to take. They're going to have to attach multiple picks. They're going to have to attach multiple players. Look, I am not one of those guys who tries to rag on somebody doing their job and it's not working initially. Prime example of that is Brad Holmes. Roll with me for a second, because remember when the Lions first started in Brad Holmes' first year, they went 3-13-1. But at least the thing is, you saw a vision there. You saw a vision. You saw, okay, he has a plan. It was a rocky first year. Let's see what happens the next year. 9-9-8. No, okay, let's see what happens the next year. Boom, NFC Championship. You saw a gradual. You saw a plan you can sell. The Pistons fan base has not been sold a plan that is tangible. So I think right now is just like you have to blow this up and get what you can from it and really start from scratch. It sucks to say it, but you're gonna have to sell something to Cade Cunningham if you plan to build around this guy. Because if you don't plan to build around Cade Cunningham, you might have to move him. Look, Pistons fans don't want to hear that, but it's just reality. If you're not going to effectively build around Cade Cunningham and give him the pieces that he needs to be successful, move this guy, see what you can get from him, and package him along with that pick or something. But if you're gonna be serious about building around Cade Cunningham, you're gonna have to abandon whatever plan you've been doing over the past couple of years because it ain't working.
Yeah, they haven't actually built the team. It's just, this is the plan, and it hasn't even like been discussed. But this is just the plan. If you have common sense, it's construct a team where you're getting a top 5 lottery pick. That has been the plan. They've tried to get multiple first-round picks, top 3 picks, whatever you want to say. They've gotten 1 first-round pick and 3 fifth-round pick, or 3, not fifth-round picks, but you get what I'm saying. 3 number 5 overall picks. You traded up for Duren. You've done stuff like that, but again, man, it's just like, until you build a team, until you show me like you actually go out and make a splash in free agency, like, don't sign a guy that's coming off a serious calf injury. Like, the Joe Harris stuff was mind-boggling. Go out and actually get some role players. Like I know PJ Washington for the Dallas Mavericks right now. That was a really good addition for them.
That was a player that was a sneaky move.
Yeah, and he was available. The Pistons could have got him this summer, and they passed on it. It's just like, you have to make moves to make this roster better and get players that help your franchise player. Don't make his life more difficult.
And when I say go out there and make moves to put pieces around Cade Cunningham, I'm also not saying putting a Tobias Harris who's going to be on the wrong side of 30 around him as well. Look, I believe you have the right idea, and I'm going to give you all the credit for this. I believe you have the right idea. The last time we talked, go out there and sign some B+, B- guys on short-term deals, and get a Malik Monk in here. Let's talk about a Malik Beasley. Get some guys in here that'll be some good vets that are still young that you can put around K, put around JD, and that are some gym rats, and go out there and be able to push the pace. Some guys that can add some spacing to this team that they desperately needed. I still think they need to keep Fontecchio and Sasser. Those are two guys I think they need to keep for their rotation. So I mean, if you got to trade them, you got to trade them. But I mean, you need bench pieces, and those are two guys I think they need to try to hang on to. Those, if you want to call some bench guys some untouchables, those would be my two. But other than that, you have to figure something. You have to figure something out. You're going to have to figure out how to get. If you can't get a superstar by trade, because basically a lot of your talent is devalued when you go 14-68. You're going at least try to get a star. If you don't get an all-star, try to at least get a star. Somebody that you can at least sell. Like, okay, you get Cade next to this guy. Maybe they can go ahead and do something. We talked about the Brandon Ingram thing. We can, but there's other guys, like you said, Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri Markkanen will honestly be a little bit above Brandon Ingram just based off of everything that he can do and bring to the floor. He's almost like a darn near walking triple-double if he had to be one. But who knows what it would take to get him. But they're gonna have to figure something out. And I don't want to get too long-winded. It's just like everybody's looking forward to this day to see them get the number one, potentially get the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. It doesn't happen, and now you're left wondering, okay, what's going to be next for this franchise? What are you going to do now? What's the plan? Because you're now missing out again for the second year in a row. You're going to miss out on a 7-foot French phenom who could. Star may or may not be what Wemby has shown in this rookie year, but that's definitely a guy that they could have used.